In this video, I'm going to go through the top 10 most expensive battle droids in the Star Wars universe. Number 10, B1 Battle Droid. Coming in at 1,800 credits, the B1 Battle Droid was the most basic rendition of its kind, making the standard for intergalactic affairs. Due to its low price, it had limited processing power, meaning these were far from the smartest droids around, but if you got a group of them together against a few poorly trained soldiers, they'd almost certainly be victorious. This is at least if they don't trip over each other with their dizzyingly low intellect, which often caused them to get into trouble or accidentally destroy themselves. Thanks to their low cost, the leaders of the Separatist droid army were able to mass produce these incredibly quickly, making them heavily outnumber the carefully raised and trained clone troopers employed by the Galactic Republic. Number 9, the B2 Super Battle Droid. Running a potential buy of 3,000 credits apiece, these were much more intelligent droids capable of greater firepower and strategy when compared to their B1 little brothers. These droids were typically used in more strategic fashion, with anywhere from 3 to 9 B1 battle droids accompanying them so that the B2 can ensure that they don't make mistakes or get overrun at important points in a battle. Thanks to their very chunky build, which employed a lot of tough metals, the B2 Super Battle Droids were quite tough for the clones to defeat, with them usually needing great squad work to even take down just one. Jedi generals and commanders, on the other hand, could deal with them very easily, thanks to their lightsabers, which led to B2s being implemented as distractions for Jedi, as well as used heavily for devastating attacks on clone bases where no Jedi was stationed. Number 8, the Dwarf Spider Droid. Retailing for around 15,000 credits, these are the little brother to the far bigger Spider Droids. These concise units were used at various points during the Clone Wars for both offensive and defensive tactics. Their advanced maneuverability as well as firepower made them fierce opponents for any clones, though a Jedi could quite easily deal with them so long as they weren't being pelted by multiple at once. Their strong legs allowed them to move around freely as well as traverse and rest on walls and ceilings, making them excellent for surprise attacks. Other than anti-troop usage, it was also seen being implemented for heavy anti-air fire, with various models taking down multiple clone gunships before a formal battle had even been commenced. When faced with impossible odds, they had the conscious ability to self-destruct in a last-ditch effort to take their enemies to the grave with them. These were used throughout the conflict all the way up to the final battles, including on Kashyyyk and the Battle of Anaxis. Number 7, the Droideka. A renowned model for not only being devastating to ground troops, but also a nuisance to Jedi, the Droidekas cost 21,000 credits per unit. Referred to as rollies by the clones who often had a tough job dealing with them, the Droidekas had numerous models throughout the years. The original model was the P-Series, which was a very basic model that, despite having higher firepower and a deflector shield generator built into its body, was incapable of taking heavy fire, especially from large projectiles. Its successor, the W-Series, had such a strong increase in weaponry that it rarely relied on its shields, being able to destroy any threat that it may be facing. The Q-Series was then developed, which was almost identical, aside from having a higher fire rate and featured higher efficiency energy usage. Other, more advanced models were made, such as the Mark II and Sniper Droideka, with the former costing almost 32,000 credits, although not much is known of it. Number 6, the Vulture Droid. These massive and deadly aircraft units ran the CIS about 40,000 credits each, and were the go-to deployment for dogfighting and aerial assaults. Very few people knows its full and official name, that being the Variable Geometry Self-Propelled Battle Droid, which, as you can tell, is a mouthful, as I just tried to say it there, which is why it was rarely referred to formally. Capable of a max speed of 1,200 km per hour or 745 miles per hour, these were incredibly fast, fluid and cunning droids which were operated by advanced robotic brains, preloaded with intricate movesets and protocols for various combat scenarios. Due to their low cost and relative to other aircraft, they were used in large numbers in many battles throughout the Clone Wars, notably taking down even some of the best and expertly trained clone pilots when outnumbered. Number 5, the Hailfire Droid. Coming in at a whopping 60,000 credits per tank, these specialized units get their name from the Hailfire missiles that they're capable of firing. 15 immensely powerful warheads which would be guided to meet their targets with very high accuracy. They were so strong that even a single one of these Hailfire missiles would take down an LAAT and destroy it entirely. In order to ensure that these expensive and devastating explosives weren't simply sprayed to detonate before impact, they were designed to have erratic and spiraling movements, preventing anyone from locking on or destroying them. During the Galactic Empire's reign decades later, the Rebel Alliance modified some old and unused Hailfire droids to incorporate weaponry capable of demolishing both heavy turrets and vehicles. As well as this, the Rebellion upgraded some of these droids for enhanced performance in sub-zero temperatures, something which would have come in handy during their battle on Hoth. Number 4, Spider Droid. A heavy tank capable of slow but strong movement with its hulking mechanical legs, these massive beasts cost 70,000 credits to create. Fueled by a powerful main reactor at the core of its spherical body, it carried a dish-shaped laser cannon which could rapidly deplete deflector shields, leaving targets vulnerable for attack. In the event that it would come under attack by troops, it had short-range laser blasters that could quickly kill anyone who attempted to destroy it. Originally used for enforcing highly valuable contracts against lazy creditors or potential troublemakers, these were repurposed and newly produced to be clone-destroying machines, with almost 8,000 of them in use in the early stages of the war. Their most notable use, however, was the First Battle of Geonosis, where they were used to great effect and could be seen across the vast desert-like landscapes. Number 3. Magna Guard. The personal bodyguards of General Grievous and a personal favourite of Count Dooku, these agile and intelligent droids cost 90,000 credits apiece. Standing at about 2 meters, these were a creation requested by Count Dooku himself after seeing Grievous's inability to be patient with and work with his other droids. He intended these to be an advanced unit which could easily adapt to the demands of their ill-tempered general. Grievous personally trained these droids to ensure that they were up to his standards and could properly protect him from any attacker, even a Jedi. He trained them in all 7 forms of lightsaber combat so that they would be able to predict and counter any possible attack from even esteemed Jedi Masters. This was due to their textbook-like usage of their lightsaber forms, which is why typically only the unique and unorthodox masters were able to defeat the Magna Guards. Despite being formidable adversaries in close combat, they also possessed the skills to operate rogue-class Porax 38 starfighters, wield blasters, and utilize RPS-6 rocket launchers, and were often seen wearing cloaks. Is there anything these guys can't do? The Magna Guards typically engaged in combat within pairs, with one engaging the Jedi's lightsaber while the other struck from vulnerable angles or from behind. Their presence is almost always signified by the presence of high-ranking military members such as General Grievous, and granted them automatic authority over other deployed battle droids. Number 2. The Octuparra Tri-droid. Although we don't know the exact price of the original model, the larger Magna Tri-droid variant came in at a staggering 100,000 credits. This was a far taller model, standing at 49 feet in contrast to the original's 11 feet, and featuring laser cannons, missile launchers, and even the possibility of carrying deadly biological plagues. In essence, the Tri-droids were far larger variants of the dwarf spider droids, designed to be an on-alert sentry unit which doubled as a powerful walker, armed with powerful weaponry which could swiftly destroy any hostile presence. Their 3 red photoreceptors allowed them to have an almost complete vision of their surroundings, making them almost impossible to take by surprise, and allowing them to spot enemies from afar and alert allies to their locations. Although weak alone thanks to their easily destructible legs, when grouped with other units, especially turrets or tanks to dish out suppressing fire, they were incredibly fearsome on the battlefield. Coming in at the big, grand number 1 is the CB3 Cortosis battle droid. These droids closely resembled standard B2 units, distinguished by their black Cortosis plating, specifically engineered to neutralize Jedi. Cortosis, a rare and highly conductive material, not only resisted lightsabers but also caused them to malfunction. Equipped with potent blasters, their sole weakness, as discovered by Anakin Skywalker, was an overhead strike targeting a specific area where the Cortosis plating separated. Otherwise impervious to blade attacks, many Jedi fell victim to these droids due to their elusive weak spot. Their use of the exceptionally scarce metal implied exorbitant production costs, making them among the most expensive droids ever manufactured. Estimating their value is challenging due to the unique nature of the Cortosis plating. A basic B3 Cortosis droid with an additional armor upgrade using 2 square meters of Cortosis plating at 5mm thickness and double the density of standard metal would cost approximately 238,800 credits, factoring in the Cortosis price of 1,500 credits per kilo. A conservative estimate outside this places their value at 70,000 credits, though the actual cost is likely much higher due to their limited production. The upper range could reach 200,000 to 250,000 credits, over twice the price of the Tri-droid, which, as we know from earlier, costs 100,000 credits. Despite their steep price tag, the threat that these droids pose to Jedi justified the significant investment needed to afford them. So that's the top 10 most expensive battle droids in the Star Wars universe. Some of these numbers were estimates made by fans because sadly Lucasfilm hates giving us these details, but they seem fairly accurate and go well with the other prices. If you enjoyed this one, we have some other awesome videos like the Clone Wars Facts Iceberg and the size and costs of the whole droid army, which you can check out here and here. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, drop a like if you did, subscribe for more awesome Star Wars content, and if you made it this far, drop a thank Mr. R2 in the comments down below.